with the revision from chapter 1 in science, that is chemical reaction and equation. Now what is reactant? Reactants are those which combine to form a product. The elements which combine, they are known as reactant, and the new substances which are formed, they are after this reaction, they are known as product. So reactants here are being written on the left hand side. Reactants, they combine with each other to form product. This is LHS, that is left hand side. This is RHS, that is right hand side. The elements written on the left hand side of this arrow, they are known as reactants. The elements on the right hand side, they are known as product. How can we say that a chemical reaction has occurred? For this, we have indicators. First of all, there will be change in color. If there is change in color, that means it has a color and becomes colorless. We will come to the activities later on. Then we can say that there is change in chemical reaction. If there is change in state. Change in state means one state to another. For example, changing of egg into omelette, that is also a kind of a chemical reaction. Another reaction is change in temperature. These reactions in which heat is evolved or there is some change in temperature, they are also known as the exothermic reaction. We will be coming to that part also. Next is evolution of gas. You can either see the colorless gas coming out of those reactions or you can smell them. So these are the indicators of a chemical reaction. Then there is another thing, that is formation of a precipitate. In detail, we are coming to that part, that is precipitation reaction. Now coming to the first topic, that is how to write down a balanced chemical equation. Chemical equation can be written in various forms. First of all, you need to write down the skeletal equation. That is the number of elements on the left hand side and the right hand side. Then you need to balance the elements on both the sides. Then the chemical equation is written with their physical state, whether it is gaseous form, whether it is liquid, or it is in aqueous form. There are few reactions which are to be written in the ionic forms also. I am just giving an example quickly. Formation of ammonia. The nitrogen combines with hydrogen to form ammonia. This reaction is formation of ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen. This is also known as Haber's process, and it occurs in the presence of a catalyst. But in this case, as they both are gases are reacting to form a gas. Now we are trying to balance this. The elements on the left and the right. On the left, we have nitrogen and hydrogen. This is how we write down the skeletal equation. And on the right hand side, again we have only nitrogen and hydrogen. And you can see on the left hand side, nitrogen, they are 2 in number, hydrogen, they are 2 in number, nitrogen here it is 1 in number, hydrogen here it is 3 in number. And give a quick trick to solve this 3 and 2 number. If we have hydrogen here 2 and hydrogen here 3, you can simply multiply 3 here and 2 here. That means 6. Now 6 hydrogens on both the side, and in order to balance this nitrogen, we are multiplying it with 2. So from this equation, you can see that 2 comes here and 3 comes here. Now this reaction is balanced. For this, I'll be taking another video. I'll be switching on to another video for balancing of chemical equation. I've just given you an idea how to balance a chemical reaction. Now coming to different types of chemical reaction. First of all, the first reaction, that is known as combination. Combination is very easy as the elements simply combine to form a product. This is known as combination. For example, formation of water. Water is formed by combining hydrogen and oxygen. We'll do the balancing also, and you can say, now it is balanced. So, water is formed by reacting hydrogen with oxygen. As two elements, two reactants, they are combining to form one product, that is why it is known as combination reaction. Whereas in decomposition is also known as opposite of combination reaction. In this decomposition reaction, single reactant breaks down to form two or more than two products. That is why decomposition reaction is also known as opposite of combination. You need to learn all the reactions that are given in your NCERT. I'm just quickly giving you one equation. FeSO4, when it is heated, it forms Fe2O3 plus SO2 plus SO3. Again, balance. On heating, this ferrous sulfate, ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide, they are formed. This sulfur dioxide evolves with the pungent smell, and this is an indicator that chemical reaction has occurred. This SO2 is a pungent smelling gas. That means evolution of gas is an indicator that reaction has occurred. So this is a kind of a decomposition reaction. We have another example, that is heating of PbNO4. Then you can see it in your NCERT, that is also given, and there are other reactions also for decomposition. We need to learn them. Next is displacement. In displacement, more reactive element displaces less reactive from its salt solution, and for this you need to learn the reactivity series. We'll do the reactivity series in the chapter metals and non-metals. But here I am just telling you an example. In displacement, for example, Zn plus CuSO4 gives ZnSO4 plus C. As zinc is more reactive than copper, it will displace copper from its salt solution. I am repeating, in displacement, more reactive element displaces less reactive element from its salt solution. In case of double displacement, for example, displacement, it has another part which is also known as precipitation reaction. It is also known as double displacement. In case of double displacement, for example, Na2SO4 plus BaCl2, a mutual exchange of ions occurs between two salts. In the case of double displacement reaction, there is mutual exchange of ions between two salts, BaSO4 plus NaCl. Now look at this reaction, it will form BaSO4 plus NaCl. In this case, as BaSO4 is a precipitate, it will deposit an insoluble salt is formed, that is known as precipitate. BaSO4 is an insoluble salt that is formed. That is why this reaction is also known as precipitation reaction. The double displacement reactions, they are also known as precipitation. Why? Because insoluble salt called a precipitate is formed. And in this case, precipitate is BaSO4. So now coming to neutralization reaction. Neutralization reactions where neutral substance they are formed. For example, NaOH plus HCl. It's an acid, it's a base. Now they react with each other to form salt plus water. As salt plus water they are formed, this type of reaction is also known as neutralization. Why it is known as neutralization? Because neutral salt and neutral water, they both are formed. I hope these types of reactions are clear with everyone. Now I am coming to another topic, that is oxidation and reduction. Many students, they get confused in this topic, so I am quickly revising. What is oxidation? Oxidation is loss of electrons or addition of oxygen or loss of hydrogen, the removal of hydrogen. Now what is oxidation? Loss of electrons or addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. Okay, in reduction it is opposite. Now we have gain of electron, we have addition of hydrogen, we have loss of oxygen. So they both are opposite to each other. In case of oxidation, there is addition of oxygen. In case of reduction, there is removal of oxygen. Or in case of oxidation, there is loss and removal of hydrogen. But in case of reduction, there is addition of hydrogen. When both the reactions, that is oxidation and reduction, are occurring simultaneously, that is red and ox, then they form redox. Redox reactions are those where both oxidation and reduction, they are occurring simultaneously. That means at the same time. For example, CuO plus Zn giving ZnO plus Cu. And in this case you can see that from CuO, Cu is formed. That means loss of oxygen, that is reduction. But in case of zinc, addition of oxygen, that is oxidation. As it is happening in the same reaction, that is why it is known as redox reaction. Okay. Now coming to another topic, that is corrosion and density. Corrosion is eating away of metal in the presence of air and moisture. I am repeating, eating away of metal in the presence of air and moisture is known as corrosion. And in case of rust, rusting occurs only in the case of iron. And there are two conditions for corrosion or rusting. First condition is presence of air, that is oxygen gas should be there, and presence of moisture. The presence of oxygen and presence of moisture. These are the two necessary conditions for corrosion. Okay, so rusting occurs in the case of iron, and there is a formula for rust also. The formula of rust, you have to learn this formula for the MCQs, that is Fe2O3 dot XH2. What is XH2O? Water of crystallization. I will tell you in the next chapter. The Fe2O3 dot XH2O, where X is the number of water molecule and the value is 24. So what is the formula of rust? Fe2O3 dot XH2O. Now what are the methods that we can prevent the rusting? There are few methods by which we can prevent the rusting process or corrosion process, and the methods are by painting. By painting you can prevent the rusting or corrosion, by oiling, by galvanizing, by anodizing. There are few methods by which we can prevent the rusting process. And this galvanization process is very important, galvanization. In galvanization process, the iron is dipped into molten zinc. The iron articles, they are dipped into molten zinc, and the zinc layer gets deposited on the surface of iron, which prevent it from further rusting. So this technique is important. Now coming to last topic, that is rancidity. Now what is rancidity? Rancidity is R-A-N-C-I-D-I-T-Y. What do you mean by rancidity? Rancidity is the oxidation of fat and oil when it is kept open in air. Oxidation of fat and oil when it is kept open in air, due to which its taste and smell changes. Okay? जब आपका खाना खराब हो जाता है, that process is known as rancidity. And how we can prevent it? We can prevent the rancidity process. There are few prevention methods like prevention of rusting or corrosion by keeping it in airtight containers, by refrigeration, by salting, by oiling, by flushing nitrogen gas. You must have seen in your chips packets or your kurkure packet that there is a gas inside it, and that gas is nitrogen. You can prevent the process of rancidity by adding nitrogen to it. Thank you. I hope you like the video. Keep watching. Thank you.